What's up, guys? It's your boy, GRC. How is everyone doing today? Let's get to the freaking 100 comments that are already in here. You guys rock, by the way. All right, Jawa. Good morning, guys. All right, we have a special guest today, the most requested. This show's odd because, the guys that get requested on this show are always just the power punchers in the brain area. So I know immediately when people start tagging them that they have great ideas. So what I do is I go back at their old YouTube videos and I just watch them while I'm doing yard work and stuff. And man, if this dude wasn't saying the exact same things on the dip 16 months ago that's happening right now, it's really awesome to watch hexagons as they go, because the smart ones don't change their tune. Because again, we're talking about software, right? We're talking about software. We're talking about number in, number out. Yeah, there's a lot of marketing involved, but the guys that really understand hex, it just gets really crazy because it's deep, man. And it's not just hex. We're talking about software, blockchain, the future of decentralized finance. Hex is just the thing that I happen to study the most at this moment in time. Guys, Gunther, Wolverine, Red Panties, whatever you want to call him, he's in the house. Some people call him Gunther the Accountant, which just sounds like a hitman name. So I like that, like the Accountant. Isn't there like a movie like that? Anyway, guys, we're going to talk. We talked about the OA audit yesterday. We brought the OGs on. We understand that the OA is there to support the ecosystem, and he puts himself in a less favorable position to put the rest of the ecosystem in a more favorable position. And that has been proven over time. So that's when I start looking at all this stuff and then see these guys calling this last year, it's just like, just take all my money, Richard, please.
Young folks, you tripping on them motherfucker.
Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
Bought my hex from the fucking start. Point one every day we mark. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Checking my MetaMask moving. Look at the hex, he is mooning. Looking at wives they be choosing. Peter is why they be losing. Pull chains out, now get me a check. He's gas up and it got me a mess. Remember the times he died collect. Hex I been eating, I'm dying in the best. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Getting this back like a year ago. Getting this post, I ain't letting go. Swerving the ring like a Lambo. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Bought my hex from the fucking start. Sacrificing all this bread like I'm Richard Hart. Got paid on big payday and I had a hairy start. Now I'm checking on my pulse just to check my heart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart. Richard Hart.
God.
What's up, Gunther? How you doing, man? I've heard a lot about you.
What's up, guys? I'm doing great. How about yourself?
Dude,
That's amazing.
we're absolutely loving these dips. As you know, I'm a turtle, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I'll ever make it out of Turtle League. So these dips to me are just more inspiring for me to work harder in general. Because I'm, you know the feeling, like when you're trying to
give people context, because
Okay.
most people probably are not aware what you say when you say turtle or fish or shark, or like they're like, I don't like seafood, bro. Like,
Well, the staker classes, guys, this chat, very educated chat. 70 likes, please, guys. Hold on. I have to read the chat for a second. There's like 100 comments already.
there's also super chat there.
Guys, I got to say hi to some people. Crypto Gains Club 369. How are you doing? Great to see you as always. Cryptographics. Great show the other day. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, but I was watching you. Smash the like fam. Profeta. Great to see you. T-Bird. Come on now. We got all the boys in the house. Scott. What's up? Hex Boy. Sweaty Hexican. D Hexangelist. Tyrannosaurus Hex. Guys, all day. $50 super chat. Bradley Lincoln. There's more testosterone in that beard than I can even bear to look at. What an absolute alpha male. Thank you for the $50 super chat, dude. I really, really appreciate that. You have no idea how helpful that is. Guys, we have everyone in the house right now. Black Swan Hex. That's a cool name.
That's a cool name.
That is a really cool name. Cash Up Cash. Great to see you guys. I've never seen a lot of you guys in here. Gunther's bringing the heavy hitters to the chat. He's like, I don't even know. Oh, shit. Hold on one second. I got to plug my computer.
100 people already, and we're just getting started. I was looking forward to this. I've heard a lot of stories about your audits and what you did a year ago, or sort of maybe a little bit longer, paying attention to what the OA was doing. So I'd love to hear about that. But first, I'd like to hear about your story. Like, how did you get into Hex, man?
How did you get into crypto? How did you transition into crypto, and how did you transition into Hex from there?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I went into crypto in about 2017. Like what one of my tweets recently said, I started with like $500 from a credit card. At the time, I was working at Solar City in California, which was later bought out by Tesla. I was working as an energy consultant.
Wait. I'm sorry to interrupt. So you bought your first Hex on a credit card?
Yeah. I had no.
Yes, he is the kind of people we like.
No,
this guy I already like. This is exactly the type of thing that I talk about.
You misunderstand. You misunderstand. I got into crypto with a credit card, but Hex didn't exist in 2017.
Okay.
It existed in 2019.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I had no idea what I was doing. I mean, hell, the first token that I bought was Digibyte. Total pleb.
Digi. You went with Digi, dude. Nice move.
That was the first one. I actually turned $500 into $16,000 with Digibyte, and then it crashed. I started like messing around with like I wanted to learn about like trading and like market psychology and like technical analysis and stuff like that. So I started fucking around for like a year, just doing that like every day. And I realized that was a complete waste of time, and that would never actually yield the kind of results that I needed. But yeah, that's kind of like how I got into crypto. I was pretty dissatisfied with crypto. I mean, obviously I was going through the bear market, and I was a pleb and knew nothing. And then one of my brothers said, "Hey, you should look into Hex." This was like around, I guess, November 2019, I guess. And so I started looking into it, and I instantly saw the value proposition the moment I looked at it. I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense. You buy it, you lock it up. There's no trading. You could sleep peacefully at night. You could like at that time I didn't even think about like laddered stakes or like, you know, like any of that stuff, because this was like brand new.
Mom and dad, if you're watching, he just said sleep well at night, delayed gratification. Those are the kind of things your boy's looking at. All right, your boy's doing a good job. All right,
Nice.
I think I'm degenning over here.
It's actually really important too, because like you know, with trading, like 90% of traders lose 90% of their money in 90 days or less. This is not just like fake stats. Like this is actually pretty accurate. So like if you're okay with like losing sleep and you want your mental health to deteriorate and you want to wind up in a psych ward, then continue to trade and go ahead and continue to leverage trade. I mean, you'll get totally wrecked. So, but yeah.
And you'll convince yourself that's the only way to make money. You will convince. I mean, some people do this. When they're doing that, they're like, this is how smart people make money. I just need to get smarter. And the whole time they're just beating their head against the absolute wall, because you can't really get smarter at some point. You can't call the bottom. No one can except the dude that's making it.
Yeah. Unless you're a market maker, you're just along for the ride, whether the price goes up, down, or sideways.
Exactly. Oh
So
my God, it's so true, Sam. Do you feel that too, Sam?
Mhm.
Like this is a lot how I feel about Hex and every financial institute in general. I am along for the ride. I have to outsmart the random people on the ground. And then one day, you rise up the ranks or whatever. But like it's all very manipulated. It's very manipulated. Like, but it's not manipulated in a bad way. Hex is the most properly manipulated financial product that I've ever seen in my life. Like, has never a man said, I'm going to do this. Yes, I'm going to get extremely wealthy, but we're going to do this to make the user. It has to support the users. He understood what he must do in order to make this actually work, not just kind of work, not just Terra Luna work, like really work. Software closed. Like, I love talking about Hex so much. Explain to me and Sam and anyone, if you know, how important it is that the software is not going to be updated, that it is not like a lot of other things. Is there anything else that is locked code other than like the Hex ecosystem in crypto?
um
I wouldn't know.
I would say that Hedron is locked code.
Yeah.
Or Pulse Doge is locked code, right? I mean,
And we're going down those
it's
avenues
locked.
in just a minute.
But yeah, in general, like a lot of code. One of the downsides is, okay. So let me just say this: I'm not a developer, so I'll just probably just speak in general terms because it's outside the scope of my knowledge. But in general, you don't want things that have like admin keys, for example, because then they could steal all of your money. People probably don't know that USDC
The U.S.
has
government. The U.S. government, right? That has admin keys, and they steal our money all the time.
The bank has admin keys. They told me to write my bank password on a piece of paper today. They handed me a piece of paper and they told me to write it on it and give it right back to them.
Well, any judge, any judge could also put a bank lien on your account and freeze your funds. So
Yeah. You hear that, Mom?
that sucks.
Well, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
You can't do that in crypto.
No, that's the whole point. I mean,
maybe they could raid your house and take what you have. So that would suck. So I guess you.
At that point,
if you had it at your house
already. At that point, people don't like. In my mind, if it was getting to that point, it would already be pat. Like that would be the cliff that it fell off of. Like once they're knocking on your door, like I know the people that I live around in the country, like outside of here, they'll just start shooting. They'll say, yep, my life is worth this. I'll die on my sword. They will. I promise. They will. They're crazy. And I learned a lot from those people because I kind of grew up in an area where there was a little bit of farmland. And I learned like about people actually caring morally about something for no real benefit to themselves, right? They were like, I want to stand up for my right to stand up. And I always thought that was interesting because my family never really took that route. They were kind of just like, the government's good. They'll treat you right. If you stay within the rule book, you'll fly under the radar, basically. That was kind of there. What do you, when it comes to all this stuff, how much control do they actually have? Like legislation wise, can they be like, you can't wire shit out of your bank anymore? Like,
yeah, they can freeze your money. Yeah, and honestly, right now, what's beautiful about like having like your own private keys, nobody even knows you have like what ETH addresses you control. People can speculate all they want. Oh, you own this and this. Okay, prove it. Oh, also, what if you lost the private keys? Oops, boating accident, right?
Yeah.
Like so. What's up, Hextronaut?
Hextronaut, thank you for all your work on Twitter. You're an animal.
So did you hear about Hex or Richard Hart first?
Yeah, basically at the same time I heard about Hex. Well, no, I've seen Richard Hart before because I remember him predicting the top of Bitcoin. It's funny that I say that, but I remember him predicting the top of Bitcoin before it crashed, and I was like, oh damn, he created like Hex. So yeah, so I knew about him, but just not much.
And then we were actually talking about you yesterday. I don't know if your ears are ringing, but there was RG3, Motley, and Wales were on, and they were mentioning that time period when there was the adoption amplifier were basically a daily sacrifice of ETH for Hex. That a lot of people were like scared or just timid of what was actually taking place at that time, or just didn't understand or didn't trust Richard, or they weren't sure what's going on. But there wasn't a lot of people in the community who took it upon themselves to actually dive in to like understand what was going on, and you did that. What was going on in your mind during that time to like go in and actually do an OA audit to try to understand what was going on?
Well, for me, the audit came later. Not like during the adoption amplifier.
Oh, that's interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah, it came much later. And actually, my work is originally based off of some of the work that Silver the Antidote did and Das Bomb. So I want to give credit to those two. They kind of like laid like a foundation for me. And then I had some people in the Hex community saying like, hey, you should probably look into the adoption amplifier. Like look at to see like if maybe the OA entity controls or owns other addresses, because the thinking is that users like myself, and let's go back to the adoption amplifier. In the early days, there was no market for Hex. You couldn't just buy it on Uniswap. Like Hex popularized Uniswap, right? So in the early days, you could just like bring in your ETH into the adoption amplifier into some pool, and then at the end of that 24-hour period, you would walk away with Hex tokens based on how much ETH you brought in. So if people brought in a lot, then you'd just get a smaller bag of Hex. And then if they brought in very little, then you'd get a larger bag. Best time was around day 33, day 34, around that time. It was crazy because this was like all-time low price for Hex. I remember going in on those 2 days, I had like barely any money. Like I was down to like less than $300. I had like $276 worth of ETH at the time. It was like roughly about 2 ETH. So on day 33, I bought and then staked it for 10 years. And on day 34, I bought again and staked for 10 years. So a less than a $300 investment. Currently worth, even with the fucked up price, I mean, it's worth a lot. I didn't look, but I mean, I literally went in at the all-time low for Hex. So I captured all USD price appreciation from 0.00005655. That's 4 leading zeros, plus big payday interest, plus all accrued interest so far for a 10-year stake. So those stakes are super valuable.
Yeah. You're muted, Sam.
Wow, that's super valuable. So you put in like an ETH at that point at like a ridiculous already sacrifice rate, and then you go from 4 zeros to what we're at right now is 8 cents.
Yeah, I mean, price is up 1,338x from the all-time low, even after this 87% crash. So there's that. Now, so it's a little bit misleading to be like, oh, the price went up 10,000x from the all-time low. It's like, yeah, we got it, but like, how much did you put in at the all-time low? And who caught that? Very few, and they didn't put in that much money. Let's be honest. On day one, I put in everything I had. I saved up. So I
he says, let's be honest, on day one. That's what everyone says. The same.
Yeah. I got so wrecked on day one. It still hurts my soul.
Dude, tell Sam, because just remember, just play us through that moment.
So I'm in here 75 days, so I don't have the same context as everybody.
Yeah.
Like I've been in.
But we do know a lot. So
yeah, we do know a lot, but like just. Please,
so there's a lot of pent up FOMO for Hex. So Richard warned us, hey, don't go like hardcore on day one. That basically went out the window. It's just like everyone was like, I guess just so much FOMO built up. So for myself, I put in $8,000 on day one. I put in every last penny to my name. That was my total net worth. Like I was just working as a wind turbine technician at the time in the state of Ohio, living in Indiana, working.
And just for reference, Sam studied Tesla for 10 years before he switched over to crypto.
Oh, cool.
So he knows like in depth everything about that whole, because you were mentioning that's connected to your industry.
When all the fun that was happening when he purchased Solar City back, was it 2015, 2016? I think it was, when he purchased Solar City. Fun. Bailed him out kind of thing.
Hey, Solar City was a mistake because I worked for Solar City, and Solar City was lying about their numbers and manipulating their data. And then so they kind of got swindled in that purchase. They were inflating numbers. I hope they're listening to this. Fuck you guys.
Well, they got sued. I think it's still finishing up in court, but the presentation that like Elon's team put together for him, and on that side of it was, you know, basically putting it together like this. That had nothing to do. They were kind of bailing him out because at the time, for anybody who didn't know what was happening with Solar City was like kind of they had run into a wall and they were running out of cash effectively. They were gonna die because they were running out of cash. They were burning cash so fast. So Elon Musk actually purchased it, which is if nobody's aware, Elon's cousin actually Elon had given his cousin money to start the company back in the day, and he was sat on the board, but the cousin was actually running the company, and it grew very, very, very quickly. It was the largest. Wasn't it the largest solar panel installer or seller of?
They were trying to recruit me.
Like
I remember at the time I was a tower worker, and those guys were everywhere recruiting. I worked on cell towers. I built T-Mobile and Verizon. Like I was like the tower tech, but I was like the main guy who climbed.
Oh damn! Much respect.
Yeah, so I know anyone in the community you build towers for any of your little projects, hit your boy up. I can run a crew. I ain't climbing anymore though. I'll stay.
I was a wind turbine technician for a couple of years.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's what gave me the money to get into Hex actually. So I was working at a wind farm, in Ohio. And then I had this opportunity to like go travel to Texas and work at one of the most dangerous wind farms in the world. Very old wind farm. It wasn't kept up. Like they didn't do like maintenances as they should have done, and things were just falling apart. So I volunteered there so I worked for this company called EDP Renewables. And if you go as a traveling technician for them, they pay you $152 a day per diem. So I was like, damn, this is an opportunity, because I was like, one of the biggest problems that I've had with crypto is that I've never had enough fucking revenue to invest. So it was like very frustrating for me, because like if you're working hard, working even full time, like you're making just enough to pay for your bills and survive.
With the family and kids, that makes it especially like tight. Let's be real. Like if you have a kid and a wife or an ex-wife or anything, like even just any fat on the bone, let's be honest, guys, we're all men here. We know how it works. If you have any fat on the bone, it's hard to stay afloat. Better yet, add revenue to a system.
Yeah, exactly. So in Indiana, after taxes, I mean, I was probably making like $2,500 a month. It's not that much. So I made kind of a bold move. I reached out to the director of operations for all of North America, EDP Renewables, and I was like, hey, I'm willing to volunteer at this wind farm in Texas for an entire year. I mean, it would be good because they really need the help. Plus, I could get the experience. Like I was just trying to like sell the strong value proposition. But for me, this was 5D chess for me, because it was all about increase your revenue so that you have capital to invest into Hex. All of my coworkers, by the way, at the wind farm in Ohio, and then even at the wind farm in Texas, I told everybody about Hex. Everybody had the opportunity. But they look at me, it's just like, who the fuck is this crazy fucking lunatic? They were laughing at me in Ohio. They were like, oh, you just lost all your money in Hex. It's worthless. It's literally going to zero. And it was going to zero. It was like 0.000005655. Like it was like less, it was trading at less than, not trading, but it was like basically less than 1 Satoshi at the time. Like it was worthless. But I just kind of like ignored that. The director of operations signed off on it. Like everyone was like floored. They couldn't believe that he would actually sign off on something like that. So I go and work at this like fucking dangerous ass job, electrical energy hazards, mechanical energy, working at 300 feet. You're working in horrible conditions in the summer and the cold. I mean, you're a cell tower worker.
I was doing the exact same thing, dude. I was on BG&E towers. The thing was crackling for hours, man. We're sitting up there, fiber cables all pinned up. Everyone was like, "Oh, if we drop anything, we're wrecked." Like, and the last day I ever worked at the company I was working at, a dude dropped a fiber cable. It's like 100 feet. T-Mobile has all fiber, so it's like very like. Everything else is much bigger, much clunkier, easier to hold, but the new shit was all fiber. And this new kid just like unraveled the whole thing, smacked the BG&E tower, whole thing, 150,000 watts, popped in his face. I got off the tower. I said, I'm done. I said, I'm done. I said, because they forced me that morning. I said, this shit's not up to code. You guys know it's not. Like this shit's crackling right under our feet. I could hear it. And they were just like, you know, like BG&E tires, you get paid way more, way more. But I was right on the edge of being like, I'm done with this shit.
This shit is so fucking dangerous, man. I'd climb up a 300-foot tower, and I'd get up there, and like maybe like the high speed shaft like broke off and just like obliterated like everything, like electrical cabinets destroyed, pieces like everywhere. Even like structural beams like knocked out of place, and I'm like, where do we even start? Or you'd like climb. I mean, this is all blue collar work stuff. I mean, this shit's fucking hard, man. You'd climb out into the hub. So the hub is where the 3 blades connect on a wind turbine, right? It's the center of the 3 blades.
The blades are here, and it's like right here.
Yeah, exactly, right in the center. So you'd climb out to the hub, and some fucking thing might have come off on the hub and just literally destroyed every hose. And you're like swimming in a pool of like hydraulic oil, and you're like, okay, this is fun, you know. So I'm going through, I'm doing all this kind of work, by the way, and investing in Hex like while up tower, because like so what I decided to do. So I'm here in Texas. I was putting in like 30 to 40% of every paycheck into Hex, because I was like, this is such a great opportunity. And for me, it was just buy it, stake it, buy it, stake it, buy it, stake it. Same game, no selling, just buy, stake, no trading, none of that bullshit. And I did this for an entire year. And at the end of 12 months, I retired from Hex. But before big payday, I wrote this. Okay, so talk about getting wrecked. I wrote like a 3-page like outline to upper management in EDP Renewables and said, hey, you should probably think about taking some serious capital and investing it into Hex, like as an institutional investment play, because it could really pay off for you. And then like you would have more revenue. You could help expand like your operations. Like I was just trying to sell them on this. They listened. I mean, I talked with them. I was like friends with a few of them, but like they took no action. So yeah, they got mega wrecked.
Well, I want to highlight that because first of all, this is a fascinating story. And it's interesting that you guys are connected in the way of that experience. But for like the dollar cost averaging, like that's super important. Like your dollar cost averaging, every time you're getting a check, right? You're taking 30 to 40%. That's how I quit my job. Like I quit working in banking almost 3 years ago at this point. Amazing. Like, I mean, this is not being in crypto. This is just doing my own thing. But for the 13 months prior to this, I got a job at a bank and good money, super duper easy, right? And I was like, holy shit, I'm not gonna, this is boring. Like, I don't want to do this. Like this, if you come in as somebody, either somebody that's working for me or as a customer, like doing things that I don't believe are the right things for you to do, I'm like, I'm not going to do this. So I went through and I saved around 70% of every paycheck that came in. Like, I don't make money. So I didn't know about crypto. Imagine if I known about crypto.
Yeah.
This is
But that's always what it always is. It always is that. That's what everyone says. So that can't be a factor because when you find out, that's when you find out. There's new projects that come out every single day. If you jump on Hedron right now, if you jumped on the 1-for-1 Maxi, if you jumped on any of this stuff, that was another opportunity to put in. Okay, I have to talk about these two things because I got an argument with Hex Tangent yesterday about Maxi. He was absolutely wrong, and I'll dominate him.
Give context, so because there's a lot of people that have missed it.
The context was he was on the show telling me Maxi should be trading at 1.1. So basically, his whole thing was like Maxi should be trading for the exact equivalent value of the stakes, how far the stake's gone. And I said that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I said that's not true at all. Remember, we were spreadsheeting this like the day after, and he wasn't adding any of the value propositions that Maxi brought to the table to add the value. And he wasn't bringing up the volume in the system and the amount of people that won't trade ever. Imagine the amount of Maxi that will never move. Imagine what percent of Maxi, we will never know this number, will never move from the wallet it's in. It's probably a high amount. And who knows what's going to happen with the rest of the Maxi, because a lot of us guys were on top of that as far as the what do you think about these derivative plays? Hedron's a little more complex, but I want to get into it because it's absolutely phenomenal and people have no idea. In my opinion, I think Hedron's cool as a concept. I don't understand the tokenomics long term. I'm not smart enough to extrapolate all that, but I think as a concept, just tradable stuff in general will be used, right? I think. Well, I don't know. I know you know a lot about this shit. I want to dive in.
Yeah, sure. So I think the strongest value proposition, or at least one of the strongest value propositions for Hedron, is over-the-counter trading or over-the-counter selling of hex. Like the people that have market sold hex, fuck you for dumping 40 million hex. Fuck you, because you could have taken that 40 million bag of hex. You could have created even a short-term HSI if you wanted, right? You could have created like a 7-day HSI, which is just staking for 7 days on the Hedron platform. Then you can tokenize that as an NFT and list it on OpenSea, even though you get hit with a 2.5% fee when it sells. But you basically, and you could even reserve it for like a specific buyer, like a specific ETH address. Like if you know somebody that's interested in buying, you could advertise your HSI. That's what I did. So maybe I'll back up a little bit. So people know me for dumping Hedron, right? That's where I get all my hate.
You got somebody in the comments was like, hey, why don't you ask him about Hedron? So
yeah,
finish your story. And then
I have no problem facing that. So I dumped about $875,000 of Hedron close to the top of Hedron. So I bought basically the bottom of Hedron, minted some Hedron from some of my stakes. And I was like, I saw that it had gone up like 13 times in value.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I
that timing too.
Yeah, that
timing,
that's a lot of money. If I would have done that, if I could have done that.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like I've delayed so much gratification with Hex. Like, how much have I taken profit? Come on, guys. Like how much? Like I'm been in Hex since like day one. Sure, I bought like a Tesla. That was nice. I bought a Tesla with cash. I sold some Hex and bought a Tesla with cash. But like I haven't been like a mega dump or anything like that. But so for me, I basically dynamically updated my worldview in real time and executed a trade that I thought would be in the best interest of my wallet. And I had like things that I could use that money for. Because this is what I saw. I saw people in Hex emergency end staking their stakes at the bottom of Hex, right? At the bottom, basically around 10 cents or whatever it was. And then buying the top of Hedron. It went up 13 times in 9 days, a brand new market. So I was like, plus you got these large bag holders that are just waiting to just mega dump on everyone. And they started dumping, actually. I did not create the top of Hedron. Let me say that again. I did not create the top of Hedron. Other large players were already crashing the price. So
I love this.
I mean, because people just like make assumptions. So I was like, fuck this. People have been mega dumping on me in Hex. And I was like, I'm just going to get dumped on again. I know this is going to crash hard. So just from a probability point of view, I front ran those guys and just blitz dumped everything. It was about $875,000. So what did I do with the money? Where did the money go? Did I buy Rolexes or jewelry? Did I buy fancy clothes? I'm wearing a cheap white T-shirt.
A Hanes T-shirt.
Calvin Klein sleepwear. Nothing fancy, right?
Some $25 Calvin Kleins, yes.
Yeah,
you bought 20,000 pairs of those.
Nothing, right? So I scraped off a little bit of money to my bank account, and I took $800,000 from a brand new market, which I think is quite impressive.
I think so too.
I think it is.
And I bought Hex at 11.6 cents and helped jumpstart the move to 20 cents. Hey, where's my thanks? Where's my thanks for pumping everyone's Hex bags, all the haters out there? Fuck you guys. I injected capital. Where's your money? Put your money where your mouth is, or shut the fuck up. Where is your money? Who's protecting and defending the price? I did. I attempted to protect and defend the price. So I bought Hex, right?
Why would anybody like? I mean,
Sam's not a Hexican per se, so he doesn't know. Like he's just Sam doesn't understand the territorial nature of the crypto scene.
Bro, somebody tries to come at me, I'm gonna fucking backhand you bitches. Like I'm doing what's right for me. I don't give a shit. Right? Like,
I know, dude. If someone gave me 900 grand worth of Hedron, I would have liked to sell it. And guess what? Alex from Hedron knew exactly what he was doing before he launched the project, giving everyone free stuff. I knew this the second I learned about Hedron intimately, that this dude was smart enough to understand this concept.
He created Hedron so that it would relieve sell pressure from Hex and you could use it as liquidity. I use it as it was intended. I pulled liquidity from a market. If you sold the bottom of Hex and emergency end stakes and then bought the peak, and then someone like me dumps the price on your head, okay, I'm sorry, but that's a poor trade.
Yeah.
But literally that happens in every single market, whether you're in US dollars or in any other crypto.
You're just honest and transparent enough to even, you have no reason to talk about your shit at all, but you're a freedom fighter and you want to speak the truth.
Yeah, I'm not. There's no lies here. You could check people dox me, right? They know wallets that I own. Go through, look at the transactions. Now here's the thing. So I bought Hex. It created these like 15.2 year HSIs. All of them were 5 days. But then what happened was Pulse Doge launched. And okay.
Wait, I'm sorry for a noob. I want to hear the whole story, but I don't have context to know about Pulse Doge. Like I know it's a meme coin, and I've never looked into it because memes are not something.
I understand the two, but like move on as far as like, what was Pulse Doge? How are you in? Because your name and Pulse Doge come up a lot. I have no idea the interaction. I just know those two things come up on Twitter. So just explain to us, how did Pulse Doge come about? What's your interaction with Pulse Doge, and what do you think about it?
Okay, sure. I'm not the founder of Pulse Doge. Hex.info founded Pulse Doge out of the blue. I was not expecting it. He just wrote the code. It's very simple code. There's nothing complex. It's just like basic like ERC20 token. It's a dog coin. It has no utility. It's just a meme token. However, there's so many beautiful things about it. So like it was airdropped to Hex stakers. If you had Hex stakes on April 20th, then you could go free claim at pulsedoge.com. Just connect your wallet. So there's been a lot of fun. So connecting your wallet it's perfectly safe, right? So when you connect your wallet, you're basically just giving permission for the app to view your address and suggest transactions to approve. It doesn't mess around with infinite spend limits or any kind of bullshit. So it's perfectly safe. Many sharks have free claims. I free claimed from 2 different addresses and got like 865 tokens for free. It has a great distribution. So whales, for example, they only get 300 tokens per claimable address. Sharks get 600. Dolphins get 900. Dolphins actually get the most tokens. Me personally, I wouldn't have given dolphins the most tokens. That's just me personally. I would have given maybe whales the most tokens because whales are the least likely to dump. Sharks.
You think so?
Yes, sharks and below.
So real
sharks
quick,
and below are
the
dumpers.
opposite. People think the opposite, and I'm going to counteract that real quick, just for the talking point's sake. So what he's saying is, Sam, these whales have so much capital that they don't even care to look at it half the time. Probably they're just like, if this blows up, it's going to be lit. I'm going to be rich as hell.
But for the meme coins or anything like Hedron, anybody that we've talked to who has had a lot of time in Hex, it appears that they just dump Hedron. Right? Correct.
No, I don't think that's true. I think it would look like
we haven't talked to one person that said otherwise.
Some sharks just don't sell Hedron. They're just long-term players, and I have much respect for those sharks. They just have a long-term play. They don't care. They don't care if the price gets fucked up. So that's solid. I respect that. But a lot of whales and sharks, they just mint and dump. Now, like dumping at these prices would be stupid. So, right. So like they'll probably, like when you get like another 10x move, you'll probably see another dumping by these larger players because it's free money to them. They didn't have to buy it. So with Pulse Doge, you you can't just become a whale. You have to buy your way in. That's what I like about it. It also, it has it's the first meme token to have a super scarce supply. So what that means is basically you can only free claim for whatever addresses you have in a 100-day claim phase. Once the 100-day claim phase is over, then the OA, the actual origin address, the one ending in 7C03, and the benevolent address, it's just another address, they can mint 10 tokens per claimed address. And then the supply is hard capped. It's a fixed hard cap supply forever. You just get the duplicate copy on Pulse Chain. So we're talking about maybe max supply, 5 to 6 million tokens. When I saw the bell curve distribution to the different leagues in Hex, and I saw the hard cap supply, and I listened to some of the live streams from the founder, I was like, this is a fantastic opportunity. So what I personally did was I found a shark in Hex, and I won't disclose for sake of privacy, but I found a shark in Hex that was willing to buy my HSIs. And no one talks about this. Hello, I sold $750,000 worth of HSIs to show support for Hedron. Where's my thanks? Where's my credit? Where is my respect? No one talks about that.
So explain. So you have, and then I want to finish about the Pulse Doge. So you have HSI stakes that
real quick.
Cool. You have HSI stakes, all-time high viewers too. Thanks, Gunther, for helping us get the all-time high viewers.
Oh yeah, nice.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
So you have HSI stakes. You flipped to say, you're like, hey, Sam, you want to check these out? I know you want to get more X. This is what I've got. I'll sell it to you for this. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so you did that, keeping it out of Uniswap and keeping the price.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt the price because I'm just selling 15.2 year stakes. You can't end those. If you end those, they go to zero. So I sold those for USDC. I took the 2.5% loss on OpenSea. The Hex Shark was happy. He got all these HSIs, and so added to his T-share position. And then I got the USDC that I wanted, and what I did was, with most of that money, I injected that into Pulse Doge because I saw a grand opportunity here. So I'm.
Was there a sell off in Pulse Doge?
Not from my wallets. I've never.
No. In terms of the price, like you said, you saw an opportunity.
Oh,
what was the
yeah.
opportunity you saw?
So Pulse Doge launched at $1. It's currently trading at. Last time I looked, it was like $1.80 something. I haven't checked in the last hour or so, but it went up to $5.04. And then now it's just kind of like behaving with just the rest of the market. I mean, this is a brutal bear market. It's really hard to keep the price up, even with something that has low supply and low liquidity. But yeah, so I do. Motley had a question. I guess yeah, maybe you could pull up his question. I guess there was a concern that I would just do the same and dump Pulse Doge, and I kind of want to address that.
Whoops, there you go. Honest question, Gunther.
Yeah,
so doing the same thing with Pulse Doge now. The problem people had with your actions was they looked to you for advice. You said one thing publicly while you were doing something else.
Yeah, let me address that. So I went on a few days before like dumping, and in all reality, like I pretty much just updated my worldview in real time, dynamically, when I saw the market conditions and saw basically the sword of Damocles hanging over my head. And I also saw the OA's move, where the OA bonded Hex to Hedron, and thus just increasing the liquidity to a very high point so that it was very hard to actually push the price up. So I thought all these conditions, I just dynamically updated my worldview and executed a trade that was in my best interest. For me, I will say this, you guys, my wallets are docs. You guys know my wallets. Let me say this very clearly, and I've said this multiple times. My wallets will never, ever, ever market sell a single Pulse Doge token. You have it on a live stream. You could hold me to it. My wallets.
Wow, we're
will never market sell.
All-time high viewers ever on this stream right now, Gunther. I want you to know that you just professed that. Can you throw up a bicep for us, Gunther?
Get some guns here.
Arms like you guys.
Nice. Real quick, let me just say this before we go. This guy's being 100% transparent with us. This is absolutely incredible. Guys, this is what crypto is all about, guys. Seriously. And this is a treat from him. He could go on and not do this whatsoever. Who cares about the people talking shit? He'll dump 800 grand on your head and go talk to his kids and say, screw it. But no, he wants people to know the truth. He wants people to understand that you could support the economy. I mean, the community while taking the gains that this man put his whole ass on the line for this thing, delayed gratification for his whole fucking life. And now he's taking benefit from some of the riches of putting himself in that position and fighting through years and years of studying, FUD, bullshit, probably getting treated like shit in real life, anything like a normal man does. Like men get treated like S and when they're growing up and trying to figure shit out. Treated like shit. I did. It's like, so you fought through all this, you got to this point, and now you're being transparent. You're 100% a fan. I'm a fan.
Thank you. I appreciate that. See, people, here's the problem with people that do analysis on wallets or they claim to do analysis on wallets. They actually suck at what they do. They're not really good at research. They're not forensic analysts. They don't spend that much time. They can't even read Etherscan. So they just jump to conclusions too. They see certain actions and they're like, oh, this is this guy. How do you guys know what I'm doing with my money? For example, let me give you some real examples, okay? There was a guy that reached out to me that I'm friends with in hex trading for a long time, and we're in some other private chats. He needed some money. I gave him $10,000 of USDC. Another friend of mine that I met in crypto, she's a single mom, and she got into a car accident. She literally was trapped. She had no way to have transportation. I gave her $25,000 as a free gift. So that she could buy a car and have transportation for her family. Or another person needed some, even my ex-wife's trying to buy a house. Hi, Rebecca. She's trying to buy a house. I gave her $25,000 to help her with a down payment. Not a loan, a gift. So fuck you guys. I'm one of the most giving people on the planet. One of the most altruistic, giving people that you will ever meet in your life. And you guys want to sit there and criticize and judge? How about you get to know me first?
No, bro,
Dude, this is so true because this is what this show's all about, right, Sam?
Yes. People, I don't know why I don't care for drama. If people like drama, I just actually cut those people out of my life because even if it's my family members, like I couldn't care less. Like you can take your drama and play with yourself. Like I don't care. I'm gonna go do my own thing. And to take the time to come on here and just be honest, because you know that like there's fuckers out there who are gonna try to come at you and just try to like hate on you and judge you because like of the way you're doing what's right for you. You're doing what's right for your family. Respect. Like
you didn't see me. I didn't take the $800,000 and go buy Louis Vuitton and Gucci and like a whole bunch of like nice fancy things. You could look at the clothes in my closet. I got like a few pairs of jeans and a few t-shirts. Like if anything, I actually need to go buy clothes so I don't look like such a poor pleb. Like I look decent.
Let's go back to Pulse Doge. So you were like, hey, I'm not going to sell this stuff. What is the opportunity you see with Pulse Doge, please? Because I don't understand.
So Pulse Doge, other major players in Hex started seeing my wallet buying. And they started doing research on Pulse Doge, and they started buying as well. So if you look at the top wallets, for example, if you look at the top 2 wallets, those are Hex Sharks. And there's some other players, Sharks and Dolphins. And these guys see the opportunity. They're also tired of getting dumped on and not really having any control. And we all understand that centralized ownership for crypto assets is exceedingly important. Because if you have centralized ownership, you can protect and defend the price. So for me, in full transparency and full disclosure, I am looking for a 10,000x and beyond for Pulse Doge. That's what I want, but that's not just what I want. Other whales in Pulse Doge want the same thing. I won't disclose who they are, but they have the same vision that I have. It isn't a pump and dump scheme. It isn't let's use people as exit liquidity. There's nothing malicious about it. I'm being fully open and honest and transparent. You guys have a live stream. You could hold me to it. I would lose my trust and reputation forever. Why would I do that? What people understand is the Hedron trade was like a once in a lifetime type of trade. I'm not a trader. It made sense in the moment and I executed and that's it. But yeah, so Pulse Doge has.
Why do you see a potential 10,000x in Pulse Doge? Like what? So you have Pulse Doge and then you get the equivalent amount of Pulse, so to speak, in the dollar terms, or how does that go?
No. So when Pulse Chain launches, you get a duplicate copy of whatever Pulse Doge tokens you have, just like any other token, right? I'm just looking at Motley's.
Thanks for answering the question, Gunther.
Yeah,
glad you swore to let similar.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. That's better.
No. That's thank you, Motley. I appreciate that. And let me just clarify just on that one point, and then I'll address your question.
Yeah.
So there won't be any market selling like ever. In fact, you could probably expect the same from the other whales. Just a pro tip from the other benevolent whales. They're sort of acting like the OA does in HEX, where the OA owns 97% of all HEX in circulation. Let me say that again. 97% of all liquid HEX is owned by addresses controlled by the OA entity. Anyway, if you see any type of movement of money from larger whales and from the larger wallets in Polstoj, it would only be maybe over-the-counter trades with each other, or not even limit orders. It may be like LP positions, but like nothing now. Like maybe like after like a major move in the market, maybe there's a small scraping of profit in a very responsible way at 100x or 1,000x or 10,000x or something like that. But it'll just be very responsible. Like no one ever has to market sell Polstoj. Actually, we're trying to teach people, hey, just set up a liquidity position. You could use Uniswap version 3, create your own unique liquidity pool, and you could extract value that way. You could also enter the market that way with a buy wall using a one-sided LP position.
Do you want to? I still want to hear about like the opportunity in Polstoj, but do you want to touch on like a range order, like with Uniswap V3? Because I've tried to explain that here a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago.
Yeah. So let's say you're trying to let's say you want to buy Polstoj, for example, right? You don't need to market buy it if you don't want to, because Polstoj has ultra low liquidity. So if you try to market buy $100,000 worth, you're going to eat massive slippage, and you're going to move the price up against yourself. So you're literally just ratcheting the price up against yourself. You could do that to secure your position. If you just want a position right away, everyone's free to do that. Like you could, and you don't have to buy $100,000 at once, right? Like you could just buy like, let's say 3,000 Polstoj and another 3,000. You could kind of like just ratchet the price up, and that's a smart way to buy. But you could also just create a buy wall. So if you think that sellers are going to sell down to a specific range, let's say they sell down to, let's say, $1.77 to like $1.81. Well, you could set a one-sided position, basically just a buy wall with USDC at that specific price range. And as this, let's say you create like a $100,000 buy wall, if you want to go big, or like a $500,000 buy wall. You just let every free claimer dump right into your hands. And I did this over and over and over and over again. They still didn't get the lesson. The free claimers just dumping for chicken nuggets at McDonald's.
So for people who don't know, please correct me if my understanding of this is incorrect. So you have on Uniswap V3, you can set if you're doing LP, you can set the specific range where you'd like to provide LP. So if the price is right down the center of my face here, and if the price comes down, that's where I would like to be purchasing. So I can set my range up where I'd like to provide liquidity with USDC. So it's a single-sided LP position. When it's right here, I can set up the position. As the price comes down into here, my single-sided position goes from USDC. Now I have USDC and Pulse Doge. And as it comes down over here, now I'm fully in Pulse Doge. And I can take this out. I didn't pay any slippage. I didn't pay any transaction fees. I actually got paid to purchase something. And people don't understand that.
Yeah, you're earning fees. The only ETH transaction fees you're paying is when you add liquidity and remove it. So that's beautiful. You're not having to click your fucking hardware device like your
no slippage.
No slippage. And you're not ratcheting the price up against yourself. You're basically painting it sideways. It's really a beautiful thing. It's a great way to accumulate. I've never done one-sided LP positions until I went into Polstoj, and then I started experimenting. So for me, it's a learning curve as well. But I'm learning a lot, and I'm having fun with it. So. Yeah, I
learned about it, but I haven't actually tested it for. I just I'm at the beginning stages of where you're at. Like I'm a dollar cost average. I'm like hey, maybe I should get rid of this asset, get rid of this to put that.
Honestly, go test it on Polstoj. Put in like create a buy wall and put in like a $5,000 or something, or $1,000 or whatever you feel comfortable with. This is not financial advice, but whatever you feel comfortable with, and just experiment, try it out.
Guys, how's Sam's mic? Why does this guy say, Sam, your mic sounds like you're in Osama's cave? I don't think
probably because my voice is so sexy, and Pep Green Gito.
No, but seriously, guys,
Gordo.
how's his audio in there? Sam, I know you have a bunch of questions about liquidity.
I do, but I want to circle back to finish the circle on Pulse Doge. So what is the opportunity? Why do you see an opportunity in Pulse Doge? And a lot of people are like, it's just a meme coin, right? Like I'm speaking for myself, but also a portion of the community is like, it's just a fucking meme coin. Like, what is the opportunity there? Can you tell me about it?
Yeah, let's flesh it out a little bit more.
Please.
So people in crypto don't give two fucks about solving the Byzantine generals like problem. Token has dog, buy button. Look at Doge. Look at Shiba Inu. People love dogs. And honestly, people in crypto, they only care about one thing. Do they care about utility? Fuck no. They don't. It's a lie. Their utility argument, all that bullshit. They only care about the price going up. And the price goes up when you buy it and you hold it, and it has centralized ownership, and it has increasing demand and perfect product market fit. Well, it has perfect product market fit because crypto people love to buy dog tokens. It has centralized ownership because it has benevolent whales that just keep buying and buying and buying and buying and just hoarding the supply, trying to get as much of that supply as possible. By the way, this introduces an important kind of like side note. What do you think the whales are going to do when Pulse Chain launches, the whales and Pulse Doge, when they have fat bags of Pulse and PulseX, which are probably going to launch at overvalued prices? Do you think they might swap some of that PulseX or some of that Pulse into Pulse Doge to accumulate all of the supply that sellers are willing to give?
Can you, Pulse Doge is on Binance, right?
No. So this is Pulse Doge coin. So Pulse Doge, there's another Pulse Doge that was some whack coin on Binance Smart Chain. They couldn't even buy their own domain, pulsedoge.com. So hex.info basically just snatched up the name, snatched up the domain, slightly changed it, pulsedogecoin.com, and has a way better logo, not some logo that's trying to like make fun of Richard, right? So
so where is the Pulse Doge sold? What network?
Oh, Ethereum.
Oh, is that it? I did not know that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it's getting copied over. Yeah.
Okay, so we got this Pulse Doge limited supply. We have a network of a certain group of people who are like see limited supply, see value in owning a large portion of that because then you get control, right? Like if I own the whole block that I am on, I get to control real estate prices in this area. Completely makes sense. Get it, understand. So is that the opportunity that you're seeing with this, or is there something to do with the free copy, or is it both those together?
All of that, and it goes much deeper. What I see with Pulse Doge is a Trojan horse. One of the biggest problems with the Hex community is that they don't outreach to other communities. They just sit in this bubble in Telegram and on Twitter, and everyone just does a reach around with each other and a circle jerk. Sorry for the inappropriate, but
it's 100% accurate. That was as appropriate and accurate as you could possibly make it.
I mean, you get the idea. Like, no one's outreaching. Everyone's actually they're just hating on other communities. What I and like others would like to do is we would like to use Pulse Doge as a way to steal all the value from Doge and Shiba and all the other meme coins, bring them all into the fold. Then driving the price up in some fashion so that people who
social
buy
consensus,
coins,
Sam, social consensus.
But if there's three meme coins, like they're dogs, right? And one of those is Pulse Doge. And I don't know, we've never talked before, but I'm like, oh, this might be an interesting idea. Yeah. These people have a propensity to buy dog coins. So if they see this price like going up very quickly relative to these two, they're probably going to sell these two and maybe buy some of this, at least some portion of those people.
Especially when they see, oh, wow, this is the Doge that goes up and dips less. It goes up more and dips less. Look how it's done in a bear market. It launched at $1, and it's still like, even in this horrible bear market where most of its liquidity is bonded to Hex and Hex is getting raped by the sellers, it's still doing pretty well. It's like $1.80, like the last time I checked or whatever. So what we want to see, we want to be able to basically paint fat green candles like Bob Ross, which is the best form of marketing, attract in all this money from all these meme token players and meme tokens and NFTs and all of that. And then what we do, because it's a Trojan horse, we introduce them to another meme token called Helgorian or Helgo, which people don't really know about.
All right, keep it going.
So Helgo has insane tokenomics that will blow people's mind. It's like a meme coin on the surface, but deep tokenomics that are designed to actually move the price of Hex up. Once Pulse Chain launches, you can't get Helgo now. You could actually swap, or you could basically enter into some type of arena with your Hex and an kind of like adoption amplifier type of thing. And then in exchange for that Hex, you would get Helgo. And then
is that a Sweden thing?
So Helgo was created because of this player named Helgorian in the Hex community in the Telegram chats that was always just making really, really funny like comments, like just some pleb making funny comments. At least I think he's some pleb, could be like high level troll. I don't know. So anyway, so it was based off of that. But I think it would be great to onboard all of this money into Pulse Doge, get them into Helgo, and then when they get into Helgo, it introduces them to Hex. Then they can learn about staking Hex, and because they're on Pulse Chain, now they can learn about Pulse Chain and Pulse X. So for me, this is 5-dimensional chess.
Where does Helgo come into play? As far as, let's say it's all done with and we're launched. What can you tell me a little bit about how that could play?
I would not be the best person to speak.
Even in theory, just like in theory.
I think it would be better actually for you guys to do another live stream with maybe someone from the Helgo team.
Hey,
if you guys are
I
listening,
will do that, right? I will write that down.
If you guys are listening to this and you know somebody on the team who's behind this, who enjoys sharing what they're doing and whatnot, reach out to GRC or myself, or Bullish. Or Bullish might be the easiest to actually get a hold of. Reach out to Bullish for somebody on the team of that Helgo, right? Is that how it said?
HELGO, Helgo.
Helgo, perfect. Yep. Okay, awesome. So
that research for Jim Rat.
Perfect. Okay, go ahead, sir.
No. So anyway, yeah. So basically, just a Trojan horse to get all of the, basically also to save all of these guys. These guys are all getting wrecked. Yeah, perfect. Hextronaut is a great person to like link you up with the right people. Yeah, I figured it'd be better. Reach out. It'd be better for you to talk to maybe one of the devs would be willing to come on, or if not a dev, then maybe someone just on that team, they might be willing to come on and flesh it out in greater detail, because I think they would do a better job. But yeah, we want to be able to save all the people in crypto that are getting financially wrecked and don't know which assets to put their money into. For me, what do I think the best assets? I mean, come on, Hex, Pulse, Pulse X, Pulse Doge, Helgo. Those I think are the best plays. I support Maximus because of the 5-5 day stakes, but I can't speak on it because it's outside the scope of my knowledge. I also support Hedron for the HSIs, and I would want to see it do well. I mean, I'd be stupid to not want that, because I can mint Hedron against all my stakes for the next 10 to 15 years. So why wouldn't I want it to do well? It'd be dumb. It'd be fighting my own bags, right? Which is retarded.
Mm-hmm. So bringing these on, so they're just going to get the free copies on Pulse when it launches. Somebody's going to bridge over their Ethereum Pulse Doge and basically create parity probably very quickly.
Well, so you get the free copy. So instantly with the free copy, what the larger players can do is instantly create bonding pairs with Pulse Doge. So we would consider Hex, Pulse, and Pulse X. We really need to see where they're at. Are they overvalued or undervalued? Because ideally, we would want to bond Pulse Doge with the bottoms of those assets. Definitely bonding with Hex would be solid play. I mean, look at it, it's gotten wrecked. But we just have to look at Pulse and Pulse X and see which is going to be the better play, and then we can adjust accordingly based on how they're doing. And the reason why you want to kind of time it and bond it at the bottom of those assets is that, let's say, for example, you could bond Pulse Doge near the bottom of Pulse X. Well, that's great, because then as Pulse X goes up in US dollar value, it drags the price of Pulse Doge up with it. And then you also have people buying Pulse Doge. So those two factors compound and multiply with one another.
Interesting. I've heard Richard Hart talk about that, how prices move together when they're bonded. I have never looked into that, but that's like I've never researched that.
This is Hart's law. So why do you think when Bitcoin gets raped, all the altcoins get raped too? And so same with Ethereum. It's because they're bonded together via liquidity. So Bitcoin is bonded to Ethereum, and all the altcoins are bonded to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So they not all, but like many of them. So they just when Bitcoin crashes, they crash too. When Bitcoin goes up, then they can also experience some of those bull run gains. That's why when any of these, when Bitcoin or Ethereum are doing really, really well, it just drags all these altcoins up with them.
But that's kind of the same thing that just happens in every market, right? That's what he's describing, because the same thing happens in equities, right? You have something terrible happen in equities and say the top 10, companies, well, and everything follows suit, right? Or if some type of strange anomaly happens, right? Is it kind of the same thing how I'm seeing it, right? Is that accurate?
I think it seems similar. I can't speak on those markets. I don't have any experience in those markets, but it seems very similar.
Is this the proper website, just so I know for later?
Yeah, is this helgo.io?
It says okay is good and buy hex in the corner, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, this is perfect. Yep, this is it.
Yeah, here, I'm going to look at it for a second if that's cool.
Hey, by the way, you see all those quotes up top? That's like Helgo has actually said that in chats.
All right, guys. So look, you can't buy this now, so don't be doing anything with your money, please, guys. Please, 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 please. I know some of you guys are young, and when I pull up stuff, you just like to go to it and figure out where some addresses are. Don't. He already said this is not a thing yet, guys. Please just read. This is for reading purposes only right now. You got the Telegram. You got Get Helgo. You got Buy Hex here in the corner. That's amazing. So when you click on that there, it'll bring you right over here to the main screen for the Hex Stakes. Go to hex.com staking platform. We'll go back for 1 second, and you can look up the tokenomics by Hex. Let's see what this is, just front page wise for now. The Hex meme, designed to pump Hex, created by Hexicans, Pulse Chain exclusive, launches with Pulse Chain, guys. Deflationary, not minting after launch. Very important, guys. No admin keys. Also very important, guys. It's like these guys know what they're talking about. Emission schedule, guys. Fast release rate. I don't know what that means. Liquidity rewards. High liquidity rewards, guys. Sam, write it down.
Right there.
Farming. No time locking. And stupidly good. Better than the meme. This does seem funny. And it's like funny and proper in the same note. It's like cool. It looks like a classic crypto website, but it's says what it actually is. It's cool. Yes. That's pretty cool.
That's a new project too that we haven't looked into. So
hey, for the Helgo team, if you're looking for a shield, shieldmasters.com, guys, use your promo code GRC50. GRC50. The Helgo team should get a shield for the Helgo. Come on, guys. You know that Helgo shield would look nice on the wall. Guys, for anyone that doesn't know, all these shields on the wall you can buy on the website. They're super expensive. I probably wouldn't waste my money on it anymore personally. But if you're rich as fuck and you want to buy cool things for your brand, if you use GRC50, your boy gets some kickback. You know what it's all about, guys. We're all about that money here. Just kidding. I mean, it's just more so this is something that I've always
don't buy it. Don't buy it if you're still building.
Don't buy it if you don't got it. If you don't have excessive income, please just relax. You don't need things for the house. This is all my best friend made this company, my best friend in the world, since I was a boy. And I was just like, hey, dude, I'm into this Hex thing now. And he just made a couple Hex ones, right? And then Motley retweeted it. And then it went people started buying. I'm like, great, but this was in the bull market, right? People were spending money like it was out of style, right? But I just want to remind people, these are just for fun, stuff like that. It's not, you know what I'm saying? We could be going into a severe recession. You should protect your family first. Family first. You got to protect the bag. You got to protect the hard forks, as Whale calls them. Whale calls his kids hard forks.
Hey, someone had a question. I think Pumperoonie, maybe.
Yeah, I'll pull it up.
Let's see. where we can find it's fascinating.
Got it.
Other comments.
Honest question. What stops the OA from doing the same thing he did to Hedron? I love Pulse D, but it's the only thing that has me on the fence.
Can you pull that up on the screen? I'm sorry. I clicked the other one right when you were there you go.
Yeah, perfect. Yes, that's a great question. Honestly, the whales in Pulse Doge have built up such a strong position that we currently dominate the OA and the BA combined. We have a greater mass.
Son.
We have more power. But even if that weren't true, I'm pretty sure that the OA and BA will act in a pretty good way. I mean, honestly, I would love for the OA to bond Hex to Pulse Doge because Hex is at the bottom. Please bond it, because when Hex goes up, it's only going to drag Pulse Doge up too. So I'm totally for that play. And I think it was also still a good move bonding it together with Hedron. It's just that what the OA was forcing in that situation, it's forcing, like, both of them need to go up together. They either go up together or go down together, instead of this bullshit of emergency end staking Hex and selling at the bottom just so you could pump Hedron. Fuck that. Like, the OA basically saw that, was like, fuck that. Let's bond the two together with 1 trillion Hedron tokens. It just took Hedron and because the OA also owns LP addresses, but I will not publicly disclose any of those addresses ever.
And that's appropriate, I think.
Yes.
I think that's appropriate because at some point we're just getting personal lives involved, and that's what is annoying in crypto, right? It's like it's all fun and games when we're all talking shit, selling stuff, doing this, and then you start mentioning names, people that have families. You don't know what's going on in their life. How dare you?
Yeah, you know what's a really shitty thing that I've observed recently in the last few months is people are actually okay with, like, doxing people, like linking the account to actual people. I think that's really fucked up. I'm all for forensic analysis, like research wallets, talk about wallets, what's happening in them, talk about poor trades, laugh at it, shit post, make fun of people, whatever. I'm totally fine with that. But if you want to start linking people to wallets and then going out on personal vendettas and putting their lives in jeopardy, well, fuck you. I've got no problem calling the FBI. I've got no problem calling local law enforcement. I've got no problem hiring an attorney and filing a fucking lawsuit. So, like, if you want to be dumb, you better be fucking tough, because larger players actually have money where they can actually hire an attorney and
when they're pissed, they'll actually extract their funds. Some of them.
Yeah.
If they're pissed, they'll liquidate something and say, "I'll take that."
Oh, we've seen people rage quit in Hex. It's actually kind of funny. We laugh about it because they go into Hex trading, and they'd be just like, we would just be talking shit about them.
I get worried because I mention projects, right? I'm not even good enough really on Etherscan to, like, I just don't have the time to get in. I don't have enough history. It would take me too long to look. I can only look at the overall ethos of the wallets, right? Like, just like you did. Like, you look at it and you're like, these ones acted this way, so I put them in this category. These ones act this way, so I put them in this category. But you are a little more personal with it because you have more interaction with those actual numbers. You've seen them longer. My whole thing is, like, when I talk about projects, right, you try to be open-minded, right? Almost impossible when you're a Hexagon because everyone immediately attacks you every time. They don't attack me necessarily because I come at it from an open-minded perspective, but other people, other stuff. It's hard for me to research when everyone's telling me what they already know already. So, like, but I also get worried when it comes to, like, how far could someone go if I research a project and don't like it, right? And I talk a bunch of whatever about it, whether it's true or not, I'm only researching. Can the person, like, attack me? Like, should I just be, if I'm just like, hey, this is the website, look at, because yesterday I brought up an address, I pulled some stuff up, I was like, this looks a little silly, this isn't how I would do it, this is red flag here, red flag there, and now I'm thinking back in my head, not for this person in particular, but in general, I'm like, could someone really come at me that had a lot of money? Because I would be fucked.
No, well, you can consider this something that's fair use. As a news show, you can basically talk shit about anything. Look at the actual media, right? Or like the fake news media, right? You can take whatever you want and lay commentary on that. You know what I mean? And it's fair use.
Yeah, and I never talk about
opinion based.
Yeah, it's all opinion based. And if I bring up somebody's wallet and it's obviously linked to shit that everyone already knows, it's like, not that I would know the person, but in general, it's like people can do whatever they want with their money. I'm not on the side of, like, like, if Motley wants to sell all this shit to zero, like, I don't even, like, I would just be like, hey, dude, like, you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. Like, what's that got to do with me?
Yeah, people fail to digest what you're saying. Like, if it's not your keys, it's not your coins, it's not your money. Why the fuck do you care what someone does with their money? Every person has the right to privacy. Every person has the right to do whatever they want that's in their wallet. You go around telling people what they should do with their money in Chase bank account? No, because it's fucking retarded. It's stupid. So like, people need to cut this bullshit out of like publicly doxing people and then also trying to like tell them what they should do with their money. You know what? Fuck you guys. People don't even know what people are doing with their money. How do you know we're not like don't have like huge plans to like solve like global poverty or solve like disease or any of these things? People misjudge Richard all the time, but he's literally in it for longevity. Like, crypto is his way of getting the resource. He honestly pretty much probably hates crypto. Like, he just is in it to get the resources that he needs to solve like longevity. I don't want to say hates crypto, but what I'm saying is it's just something to give him the resources that he needs. So like, I don't know.
Well, let's switch to talk about Pulse and PulseX and when those are launching. What are your thoughts on the? I asked this question to a couple other people. What are your thoughts on which will reach the next 10,000x first, or just thoughts on those, because they all have positives and they all have cons, right? PLSX, Pulse, and Hex. We got those three coming out on Pulse. What do you think may or may not? You have different points.
I'm losing you a little bit, Sam. Are you losing him a little bit? I'd like to add on to that question too. I think we heard your question completely. The question was basically about which one has more positive externalities. Which one do you think, kind of on like a 2-3 year time scale, will outperform the other? And I'd like to add to the question on a short-term time scale. I'm going to put my question out there, and then Sam can counter this because I think he's on the other side of this. I think Pulse Chain has more name value, more name brand power. Just Pulse Chain itself. This is my personal opinion. I'm not an expert, guys, please. Okay, so Pulse Chain, I think like people missed that sack. It was so much earlier, and more people missed it. I think more people got in double plus some with PulseX, like new users. So I'm a little bit curious about what you think about the short-term price action, because as I dive into it more in my own brain, I'm starting to think Pulse Chain is going to have more short-term price action just because of the name brand power, but nothing else. The tokenomics probably aside for the short term.
Well, Pulse is the native token. So, I mean, if you think about it, it's like getting ETH for Ethereum. So I think it's a solid play. I also think PulseX is a solid trade or play. It's like Uniswap, except way better, like on crack. I kind of think, like you said, because a lot of people missed the sacrifice for Pulse and they want it. My thinking is that we might see people mega dump PulseX in order to get Pulse. We also might see people dump both the assets to get Hex because it's so undervalued and they love Hex. And there's a lot of people that are just Hex maximalists. So we could see that going on. And then you also have where people want to become whales and whatever tokens they care about. Like for me, I wanted to become a whale in Pulse Doge. So you might see someone like myself maybe swap some PulseX or Pulse for Pulse Doge and let's say Helgo, for example.
Interesting. Do you have any thoughts on because like I could see the same thing happening. There's a lot of fun. There's a lot of people who put money in a year ago and they're like, damn, I want my money. I want to be able to do something with it. Right. And so when they launch, they're going to be like dumping PulseX. I think that in the short term, 100%. And what GSD was mentioning, I think that the brand, or you're basically getting ETH kind of thing, could definitely be very, very beneficial to Pulse over time. And if you think about Hex as like the ultimate store of value for, this moment in time, right? And maybe into the future forever, right? But maybe in this moment in time, that's the perception from a lot of people. Then at 10s or 100x's, people are going to be shaving some of that off who appreciate that or believe that into putting it into Hex across the board. So you wouldn't think that like a 10,000x is going to be held by most people, because a lot of people at some point are going to pull some off to either put into Hex or to just go buy life's shit.
This is a solid point. So Hex actually saves people from themselves, because you fucking lock it up and you really get murdered with penalties if you try to like end that stake early, especially with like pre-big payday stakes. So all these people talking about they're gonna hold for 10,000x in Pulse X or Pulse Doge. I'm like, lol, that's not gonna happen. They can't even. I've been buying Pulse Doge like nonstop, and these people just dump and dump and dump and dump and dump. They don't even know that they don't even know how to hold. Like it's just like foreign to them. So let's have a thought experiment, right? Let's say Pulse and Pulse X launch or start trading at let's say 100x from the best possible sacrifice price. What do you think large wallets are going to do that got 100x on their money? So, for example, if you invested, let's say,
keep going.
Dude, people don't think about this shit.
No, they don't think about if you invested, let's say, $500,000, right? Combined, Pulse, like just an arbitrary number.
And I'll tell you how many people did that while you're going. Right.
So if it goes up 100x, well, that's what is that?
$50 million.
$50 million. That's hard to. $50 million is enticing. And the thing is, it's not just about that number. It's what you can reallocate the $50 million for. And you wouldn't have to like mega dump everything, right? You could just maybe sell off 10% of your position, and you have $5 million, and then maybe you take $5 million US and like pump Pulse Doge or something like that. I'm just saying.
So whoops, that's very interesting, because if hypothetically, we obviously have no idea, this is a game of conjecture here, but if it was 100x on Pulse or Pulse X, and somebody, even if you have somebody putting in 50 grand, right, 50 grand times 100, that's $5 million. Somebody's going to sell some of that off.
Yeah.
And
Sam, pull up the adoption chart real quick. I'm going to make a point. I want to make a point.
Where? Tell me where to go. Where is that?
No, it's the chart that you always bring up for like technology adoption.
Yes.
I want to ask him a question, but I want to preface it with another question. This is the first SAC or whatever, pre-ICO, whatever you want to call it. It's the same shit. People are just putting money into something that's not out yet. It happens in other industries too. Whatever the verbiage is, that's fine. But we've never seen money like this poured into a project, right? We know that market cap is kind of like a fluffy number, but that's not really the point. The market cap's not the point, but the amount of economic mass that's already in the system, it seems odd to me to think about a quick 100x, 1000x, 10,000x. I don't know the volume necessarily in the system at the time, US dollar wise, when Hex came out, but explain to me, like, with more money comes a little bit of slower movement, I would assume. But to counteract my point while I'm talking, we're going to pull up the adoption curve for technologies chart. We're at roughly 3% of people in this world interact with cryptocurrency. And in 5 years, they say roughly 50% will be on the adoption curve. So we could just be marking this in our heads completely because we're not really thinking about adoption, right? Like if this takes off the way that it could, if Richard Hart goes viral, if the bear market is short, which it could be, you never know. I just feel like the numbers that we're thinking about could be way lower than we should be thinking about them. Sam, what do you think about that?
I agree. And to give Gunther some context on this, I completely agree, because Gunther, there's estimates from crypto.com and from another research company that we're around globally 300 million users in crypto. So this takes into consideration people who have multiple wallets and all that. So if you think about this, 300 million divided by 8 billion is roughly 4%. So we are right in this range right over here on the chart. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm looking at this chart. At this point, the rate really increases. The yellow line is just the blue line stacked on top of each other to equal up 100% of the marketplace that is being adopted. And when we look at this, we know what happened after 2.5%. That the technology is always adopted faster once you get past that point, that based on this curve. And if you look at any technology, let's see if I can pull this up. Hopefully this is.
Yeah, this is what I like to look at. I like to look at this one, and because it shows you when other technologies were involved, what the rate was and how it started, and then when it started catching up. And if you really look at where we're at in the world, social media, everything, how explosive is this? If Richards take one somebody pantsing him and exposing his wiener from 1 million subscribers. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, this is the world we live in now, whether people like it or not. I don't necessarily like all the brashness. That's not necessarily my style. But in the world that I see in the technology curve, I can post a TikTok in a bear market with Richard's face in it and it gets 100,000 views. You know what I mean? We're in a bear market. We just hit 220 active live viewers at the bottom, not the bottom of a bear market, but you know what I mean? We're in the pits of a bear market, but Hex streamers are getting all-time high viewers. Think about this. I have just started doing this shit. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. And I'm getting all-time high viewers talking about Hex, talking about Pulse Chain, talking about PulseX every single day, and it only is going up. Well, yes, I'm getting better at it, but also people want to know about this now. It's getting more sticky. It's getting stickier.
Yeah.
We're at that point. We're at that point right here. And if you think 12 months from now, like we know, if you look at history, if you look, and I saw this with Tesla. This is why I'm like applying the same framework I was using with Tesla from like investing and trading options in there. And I saw this is taking place, right? With the EVs, the battery power is coming down. It's just like an LCD that comes down. The technology comes down over time. And you see this happening with crypto. And people have probably thought that like, oh, this is so amazing. This is going to change the world. But they didn't understand adoption curves. Every single technology follows an adoption curve. You can go back to anything. And it's always like an S where it starts out slow and then peaks and comes up here. One of the things that I have noticed by looking at a lot of these adoption curves is that over the last, say, 40 years versus, say, 80 years ago to 40 years ago, that the adoption curves have gone more vertical. So, say, an adoption curve might go like this, right? 40 years ago, it might have gone like this, right? Much slower ascent because of the internet here. And if you apply this to like what's taking place right now, 300 million global users, we'll assume that's slightly accurate, plus or minus 10, 20%, whatever you want to apply to that. In 2021, they estimated 100 million to 300 million, roughly. That's a 3x. If there's another 3x in 2022, we're at 900 million. 1/8 almost of the world's population. Like, shit can go effing bananas, and people don't understand this. People, like, the same things happen with EVs right now, electric vehicles versus internal combustion engine vehicles. Like, people don't understand that what is happening. By the end of this decade, it's going to be Tesla, BYD, and all these Chinese companies that are producing the bulk of all vehicles globally. People don't understand this. The same thing is happening with crypto. The same exact thing is happening, and nobody else is talking about it or paying attention to this. What are your thoughts on all this? You want to say hi to Street Guru real quick?
Yeah, real quick, guys. Street Guru, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Great. 2 questions. I want Pulse to launch after the highest of stakes to have all folks get in on debut, better marketing, and how much Pulse do you think will be made available at launch? I'll answer the first part of that. I don't think this freaking documentary has anything to do personally. I don't know much about that side of marketing, but personally in the short term, I know when things launch, movies and stuff, I can't see in the short term this thing catching on that quick while Pulse Chain comes out. But if Pulse Chain already came out and then it launched, I'd see that would be similar. It's similar in effectiveness. I don't know.
What are your thoughts on this question? And what are your thoughts on the S curve and the adoption stuff?
Hard questions. I'm not sure what that guy meant though about how much Pulse
Where was that
will be available for some.
I didn't understand. I didn't necessarily understand.
How much Pulse do you think will be made available at launch?
So it's all based on sellers. The sellers will make that Pulse available, and then
there's going to be a boatload. Like, you won't have any issue buying as much as you want, assuming you're not buying, chunks of 5 million at a time. Even
you might see a bull run for Pulse, and then like at PulseX crashing and Pulse going up, maybe, like, because people wanted to get Pulse that never got it, possibly, or maybe they're both overvalued and they both go down. I don't know. It's hard to say. People were sacrificing like late in the game. Those guys are mega wrecked. Yeah, sacrifice mega.
Yeah, people don't understand.
They may never break even. Actually, they're so wrecked they never break even.
That value. So the S curve for the what do they call it when you're doing a sacrifice and the bondage curve?
Oh, the bonding.
Yeah. Curve, so basically, so Hex ran. Sam, think about this. Guys like me were buying Hex at 2 cents roughly 16 months ago. I think I started buying Hex, or 15 months ago, like for the first time. Motley was telling me about shit. I was trying to get involved. And then it ran up from 2 cents to 56 cents in literally the first 4 months that I was in crypto. I mean, that I was in Hex. So I was like, okay, what the hell is going on? And but then I started looking into it. But all that value that I captured there, a lot of that value, I sacrificed because this was all going on. So I captured a lot of that value, sacrificed on day one because that's what people were telling me to do. And then the price immediately dumped. So like it went from 31 cents on the first day of PulseX sacrifice to 16 cents within days, I think. And people were like waiting. They were trying to time this out. They were saying the price will pump. The whales will do their pumpy pump. It's like these people already have millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars in crypto. So that's kind of where I stand with it. I don't remember what I was kind of talking about, but
So GRC didn't get the same negative that Gunther did, even though you guys were doing the same exact thing, right? You're extracting towards the top, just like Gunther was doing. Makes intelligent sense. You're just sacrificing Hex, right? Kind of the same exact thing.
I was like, if this works out, like I don't know what Hex will do, right? Like it was pumping so much. I was just like, when do things stop pumping? People were talking about price discovery. I was buying. I think I bought at 27 cents. I think that was the highest that I bought. But I would have bought higher, like if it kept going. That's the thing about Hex. You never know when it's the last time you'll see that price target again.
Yeah, very true.
You never know. It could be right now. It could be at 3 cents. It could be at 21 cents. It is up to the whales, literally. Like
if you think too, I mean, it's typical for crypto markets, even the very best asset, to have an 85 to 95% crash. You even see it in legacy markets. Amazon crashed 95% and then went up forever, basically. So it's not like unheard of in crypto. So like we're already at 87% down for Hex. I think if anyone's selling right now, they're really dumb. I think once we hit that, I think people should have already just been dollar cost averaging from basically 80% to like 95%. I have no idea how low it will go. I was kind of hoping that 7.7 cents would hold as 85% retracement from 51.3. But
then the Saudis got involved.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. I don't know anything about that rich people shit, guys. I don't make fun of the rich people because I don't know rich people shit. So like, I don't know what they get their asses into. So
all we know is don't take loans from the Saudis and then sacrifice it to Richard Hart for Pulse. Oops. I'm just kidding. I don't know what happened. I'm just kidding.
I know. Just don't over leverage yourself. Whether it's drug dealing, whether it's gambling, whether it's Hex, buying Hex, whether it's business partners, you can never I always mention overextending yourself. Those are three things that I'm super passionate about. I'm $800 a month to live right now. Like flat. I don't have a wife. I don't have kids. I have a house. There's renters upstairs. I'm doing this like researching pretty much full time right now. I do other stuff in my personal life, but like this has been one of the most transformative experiences that I've ever, and I've been through a fuck ton, I promise you, of transformative experiences. This has been the most absolutely incredible thing that I've ever been a part of. And I really do think that the future of crypto is here.
With Hex.
With Pulse Chain, with Hex,
when you layer this on, when you layer Hex, PulseX, and the timing of this with what's happening with the adoption curve of crypto at the macro level, with what's happening with the tyrannical governments around the world, with what's happening with people trying to steal your money if you're just trying to buy gasoline for the truckers in Canada, and all this other like asinine shit that's happening. I mean, like it makes sense, and then it's also not scary as in like negative, but scary as in like, holy shit, people don't understand. They don't understand what happens from 4% of the world owning crypto to 12. And that can happen very quickly, very, very quickly. And that doesn't just mean that you had a 3x in prices. That does not mean that at all. That means that could be a 10,000x in prices, and that could be like a 12-month period of time where you go from 4%, because remember, we're at that point where it's ticking up. You have governments incentivizing crypto by creating horrible freaking policies to push people into crypto because they don't want the regulations. They don't want the taxes. They don't want all this garbage that the government has control over. Like, oh man, I'm super excited about crypto. This is going to be amazing experience.
There's 100 wallets with over $1 million sacrificed into the Pulse X sacrifice chamber. So there's over 100 wallets with $1 million plus. The 100th wallet is 1.1 million. So if you look at that and you extrapolate those numbers of volume to the project flopping, I mean, doing doubles, or like how they say in the hex world, because I started to think about things like doubling more. And you know what I mean? Like, doesn't it seem like the economic mass might be a lot, but then again, we counteracted it with that whole chart. So it's hard to even extrapolate.
Yeah, it's hard to know what's going to happen. I mean, what I would imagine too with Pulse and PulseX, there's going to be low liquidity because the price, it's better for price performance when the liquidity is lower. You want low liquidity in the early days. That's what happened with Hex. That's the same thing with Pulse Doge. You have a low liquidity environment, and then people buy it, and then it forces the price up. But maybe I don't know too much about Pulse and PulseX, so maybe I'm off on this point. So I'm open to corrections from people. But you definitely, the price could do some crazy things. The one thing that makes me a little nervous is the trillions and trillions of supply. Sure, people want large bags, but look at the large bags in Hex, for example. You want those guys to get shaken out.
Oh,
I hope there's actually a massive like crash and people get wrecked.
Yes,
because we need to get rid of those guys in the early days. We don't need that instant 10,000x, because then people with billions and billions
same
and billions
shit a year ago on stream. Like, you have no idea, like, because you haven't looked at your old videos, but like I was watching your shit like the last 2 days, and you were just saying the same words came out of your mouth. The exact same words. You were like, dude, we need to get these whales out of here. They're
liabilities, man, and we know this now. Look at these guys cashing out and then just like buying millions and millions of dollars worth of stuff, and then it's cool. I mean, it's fine if people can cash out. You want them to take profits and enjoy life,
of course.
But at the same time, it's like then just boasting and bragging about it on Twitter and rubbing people's faces and then making.
But that's what gives guys like me and Sam an opportunity. Like, we are here now. I want this to occur. I understand the value proposition of Hex has not changed.
Yep.
The value prop. Tell me when you guys can tell me when trustless yield goes out of style, I will tell you that I'm bearish on Hex. I promise. I promise.
Even all the mad gains that you make in other assets, you can roll even just a percentage of the gains back into Hex and create more and just keep basically the laddered stakes, because it becomes like an infinite like type of setup. Or let me put it this way. Like a turbojet engine, for example. Like once you get that engine running, it's self-sustaining, right? It's a self-sustaining engine or self-sustaining system. So same thing with like Hex. Like once you get enough like capital or whatever, and you get it going, you just keep like building those stakes and just create like another like laddered stake system. Just keep doing it forever. Why not? You're getting interest in Hex, and you're getting USD price appreciation, and you don't do jack shit. You can just chill and like enjoy life. This is the way.
Do you see? I see an opportunity here that somebody's going to come out with a derivative of Hex or a clone of Hex that allows somebody to do a 30-year plus stake, because then you could spread that yield out for that person who does like a 30-year stake. I think first of all, what needs to happen is more cemented that crypto is like the future. Like, crypto is not going away, because right now
we're going to run into problems with that though, because Richard experimented with like 50-year stakes even when under development, and they came up with that like 5 days was actually like the best like point of I don't understand I'm not a dev, I don't understand code, but just from whatever point of view, once you go past that point, you run into some issues. So 15.2 years is a good 5 is a good number.
Yeah, but I still see it. Some people are going to be right. Like, if there was for the people who are really, really into Hex, if there was a 20-year or 25-year option, some people would be putting money there.
Yeah, I agree. Now, here's what's great. So one of the great things about Hex is that as the share price, it only goes up forever in Hex terms, not in USD terms, right? In Hex terms, it only goes up forever. And Hex becomes more expensive over time. So what's going to happen is the T-share pool will become deflationary. It's already like less than 11 million. It's like 10. Last time I looked, it was like 10.4 million, or I don't remember exactly, right? So that pool is going to go down over time. However, if you're a long-term staker, then you're going to get more of that pool. So you're going to get more hex per T-share per day, which means you're going to get more yield, and you're going to capture the USD price appreciation. So the long-term stakers will be able to have the true hex flex on everyone. Everyone now, we're just loaning you. We're just loaning you out the liquidity. Go ahead, buy the supercars. I mean, I have supercars. I'm not judging, right? Buy the supercars, buy the multi-million-dollar homes, buy the fancy clothes, buy the Rolex watches, take the private jets, buy the airplanes, blow all the money now, and we're getting paid. We'll be able to tap into that money later on in the future. We don't need that money today.
Yes, no, this is super exciting. Gunther, I have to run. This has been
Me
awesome.
too. Yeah.
Yes. No, this is perfect. This has been great. If you guys,
we're all gonna run. This has been, I mean, absolutely incredibly insightful. I'm probably gonna spam you to come on the show once a week. Ignore me if you'd like. So, guys, I'm gonna let you guys talk before we go. Thank you so much for the absolute amazing comment section. You guys are incredible. Thank you so much. This has really made my life awesome. I've enjoyed doing this show a lot. It's my first creative outlet I've ever had. Other than, I guess, working out, but like that's not really creative. But like, you know what I mean? I've never had somewhere where I could go to like think and have a space. Everyone in my life, they told me that they knew what was going on, and I found out that none of them knew what was going on. None of them. Not one. 0%. And that's no hate on any of them. But as a man, I had to go out on my own and figure out what was actually going on. And I think that I've arrived at that, in my opinion. So I'm going to go ahead and try and continue spreading the world at 11 a.m. Eastern. It's a good time if you're on the West Coast to get up early, get a little kick in the ass. Because what were you guys doing when you were working? Listening to podcasts, probably listening to Whales Only, RG3, whatever you wanted to listen to while you were getting yourself in position financially. You can learn from this. Is a value source. I want to research for you guys. I want to help everyone because it's fun to me, and I'm going to do it anyway. Guys, thank you so much. Share, like, subscribe, do all that stuff for me. And then you guys, anything you want to talk about as we close here?
Where can people reach out to you, Gunther?
You can find me on Twitter. Feel free to follow.
I'll post it.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. Also, I'm in a few Telegram chats. Most are just private chats, but you could find me in the Pulse Doge chat if you are interested. I hang out there a lot. I'm not really in the chats, the other chats too much, just because I just don't have the time. I mean, I'm very busy, and I don't want to spend all my energy and resources just on Telegram, because then I'm not onboarding the masses into the assets that I care about. I could do a better job of that actually on Twitter.
Yes, thank you. So if you guys enjoyed Gunther's insights and perspective on things, you should definitely reach out. If you want to help,
you're rugged.
Rugged himself, poor quality, bro. You got to upgrade internet or something.
You got rug shield, bro. God doesn't want you to shield, bro. God's telling you that you're doing the wrong thing, bro. Get off my show, you gorilla. Sam's 250 pounds and 6'2", by the way. We're both kind of bodybuilder guys.
Yeah. You guys are in shape because that's one thing I need to get better at, is just get in shape, start to lose some weight, get toned up. Like,
I know you're not all on the internet, but have you checked this out by any chance?
Let's go.
Fire.
that launched on May 1st, and we had 400 signups.
Damn.
And we're gonna do it again here in 60, like whenever the next one's like 60 days till it ends. but we're going to do it as we get smarter with the NFTs and creating our own brand and stuff. We're going to do it. So like, we're going to try to make, this is very sneak peek, by the way, guys. And if you steal my idea, it won't work because I'm the best in the business. But to create an actual token in order to enter the fitness challenge, which actually appreciates in value, but also gives you the ability to vote on the winners. But it's just for fun, like more so for fitness fun. Like it's not, but it's going to be cool because the activity, people are, there's someone that's lost 40 pounds already and it's only been 30 days. We got guys that need to go to the hospital immediately. Like, you know what I mean? Like serious, like we got millionaires in this community that can hardly leave their bed. I'm telling you, dude, like it's crazy. And if you just tell them a couple things about heart health, you get them 45 minutes of cardio a day. Cause that's where I usually start. Like just, if you could walk for 45 minutes a day, like you can join.
I'll do it today. I'll start walking today, 45 minutes.
If you do 45 minutes of cardio per day and make it something you love, make it something that you just turn it into a like a little thing that you do every day. I do yard work right now for my cardio. Like I'm just like redoing my whole outside, but generally I just do treadmill 45 minutes or just walk. All you got to do is walk, guys. And as the next one starts coming, it's just, I'm going to show you all the winners. We're changing some people's lives over there. It's really fun. It's kind of like an easy hands-off way to like have a lot of positive momentum just within the community. Like people are going to die like within 15 years, like they don't see it, but like I see people dropping like flies. I see overweight people dropping like flies in my life. I see people, an obesity rate that has never been more parabolic ever. I see guys that have resources out their ass, but they are so depressed that they cannot get out of bed. You know what I mean? Like that's what I can do in the middle of me teaching people crypto, because that's like the field that I came from, right? Like the self-help. I do the research stuff on the side, but mainly I'm like self-help, motivational, like kick you into gear kind of guy. Like, let's go. Like we can't complain. We got to push it kind of guy. Like, that's what I like. I just like, there's a lot of bullshit out there, guys. You could be bogged down by everything. Trust me. There's people in my comments telling me they hate what I do. I'm narcissistic. I have no idea what I'm talking about. I faked getting hacked because I got hacked, by the way. And there's a wallet address that I want you to look into if you ever had a moment, like in the future. You know, it's not like prime time.
So send me
150 million hex, 150 million hex in the wallet that hacked me. Yeah.
Send me a private DM.
I will
on Twitter or something. Yes, that
my addresses are very public. I went on Whale's show. I had a freak out. I lost my shit. This was a while back.
How much did you lose?
At the time, I was new, right? Ish. So like I had 10 T shares and like 40 or 50K like liquid hex, I think.
Oh man.
But it was all 11 years plus. And then the dude stole all my liquid hex. And I was like, well, he left all the stakes, right? And I was like, he's going to steal the stakes if he figures out or whatever. But they were so long and they were so small that I was like, maybe he just won't. Maybe I'll end stake them one day and just like get any little value off. He end staked them all on a negative.
Remind me in July. I'll send you the amount of hex that you got hacked for.
No, dude. There's been so many people. There's been so many people that have offered to help me. I tell everyone, like, if I get into a situation in real life where I like have trouble, like I will reach out to someone, but I promise everyone I am not in that situation right now.
Yeah. Well, let me just jump in. You do need some help because the compromised wallet, that's where the stuff is going, right?
What stuff?
The sack.
Oh yeah.
So you still need help.
I have to race a sack on that wallet too.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah, so, I forgot about that.
Damn.
I didn't forget. It's obviously on my list of things, but like I wasn't active.
Did you just interact with a malicious contract?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what it ended up being. I told everyone a million different things because I was sloppy. I was new to the internet, dude. I didn't even know what the fuck I was doing. I had shit written everywhere. But I think at the end of the day, I interacted with the fake airdrop or some shit.
Oh fuck, man. Yeah.
I liquidated all my shit, but 150 million hex was in the direct wallet, plus like so much die. Like, so I was like, what the fuck? Like, but they had other shit too, but still, like, that's a lot. Like,
definitely send me that ETH address. I have a bunch of friends that are expert analysts, way better than I am, and they could just tear through the wallet because then maybe we can expose them. Also, we might be able to backtrack, so look at all the incoming and outgoing transactions from that particular wallet. If we can link it back.
I tried, dude. It's insane. It never ends. It's never ending. Dude, it's never ending with like large amounts of funds.
Yeah. I fucking hate wallets like that, especially ones that they're in that like they're holding assets that we care about because these are dangerous and malicious.
150 million hex.
Yeah, damn.
And that was just one of his. I'm not a researcher. I'm sure if you look into it, he has got 6 accounts with that shit. If he's just because another thing that I like to bring to the show, everyone's attention is like when I was new here, I wanted to let everyone know like this is clunky. This is difficult. This is not user friendly. Locking your shit up before you know what's going on into a 15-year stake is ignorant. You have to figure out what's going on first before you can buy a hex, of course, but like you got to wrap your mind on what's going on. I've lost more money than I have now trying to fucking work through security as somebody who is not in the field of computer shit. Like I was ignorant, of course, but again, like I didn't prepare myself. I could have prepared myself better in my youth as well for like cybersecurity. I didn't even know how to. I was asking my producer how to like copy pictures and like send them to him when I started the stream.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, how do I attach this picture so the quality's better? He's like, you
Yeah.
can't copy it. You have to put it in the file thing. I was like, what? And like literally working through all this shit as I've gone. But I understand concepts and I understand finance and it's 1-for-1 value propositions. Like hex is simple to me. I mean, crypto is simple to me because it's like money go here, money go there, fee, money go here, right? Like, so I got it. Like I understood that. But again, there's a lot of clunkiness here that can be fixed, in my opinion, as we go through. And I just like to bring attention to it. It's not the end of the world. Adoption, guys, early adopters. It's clunky. It's hard. It's like it's not supposed to be easy. We're early adopters.
You got to get the security right because you could make even a lot of money, millions and millions of dollars. Ask Hex 19, for example. And then if your security is not on point, you're just going to lose everything anyway because it's going to get compromised at some point in time. So, like, for example, you should never have crypto on your phone, ever. MetaMask on phone is a mistake. And you should never use, if you have a MetaMask wallet, you should always use a dummy wallet, right? Where there's no money that's ever stored in that wallet. And then you connect your hardware wallet to MetaMask so that someone has to have your ledger device to be able to execute a transaction. So, for example, let's say you made the mistake of just like starting to crypto, you didn't know any better, and your money is just sitting in a MetaMask wallet. Well, fuck that. Go buy yourself a device like a Trezor or a Ledger or something like that. Get fresh minted seed words that have never been online ever. Then uninstall MetaMask, reinstall it, create a brand new MetaMask wallet, but never store money in that wallet. It's a dummy address. No money ever goes to that wallet. Just connect your new hardware wallet to MetaMask because MetaMask is just a user interface.
Right.
And then you just execute transactions from your hardware device, which, by the way, your hardware device is not storing money. It's storing seed words. MetaMask is not storing money. It's a user interface. Your money exists in an ETH address. And technically speaking, because your money lives on the Ethereum network, your money is a bunch of zeros and ones distributed across nodes across the globe. So it's kind of important to understand at least some of these things. You don't have to understand all the technical details. I mean, I don't. This is just a bunch of magic shit happening in the background. But you do want to get the security right. I learned a lot from friends, went to Hex Security even for free education to try to like mitigate.
I'm all set. Like my shit is done. Like I have my security's locked in. See, that's what the thing that's happened. Like I wasn't streaming when I got hacked. I started streaming because I got hacked.
Okay.
If that makes sense. You know
yeah, no, it makes sense.
Because I had questions and I was getting lots of answers and not all the answers were perfect. So I figured out the best way for me personally and what I tell the people that I respect. I don't tell random people about Hex. I'm so done with that shit. But like I tell people, guys, that I intellectually respect, like people that I know can digest some info, get a computer, wipe it, get some Trezors, never use it for anything else but interacting with the blockchain for the most part, right? And then separate your stuff where you can because people will hunt down your wallets. They'll look at everything. Like I had to deconnect all the wallets that I had from my other shit and I had to like start fresh and start sending shit elsewhere because I knew if I started sending anything, it would all just be compromised and everyone would stare at my shit. And I just like security, right? I'm not doing anything sketchy, but like it's also sketchy to think about people checking my shit out all the time. I don't know what I don't know. I don't know what they're capable of doing. I don't know if they know where I live. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm not a security guru, guys. This is reality. I'm just a real guy. I'm just a normal fucking guy. I don't have anything special about nothing other than I have a great attitude and I work really hard. Like, so just understand, like, this is hard for me, uncomfortable, very uncomfortable trying to learn security, very uncomfortable getting hacked and not realizing if I was stupid or if something was wrong here. I was like, I'm not stupid. I was like, I crush everything in my life, like, intellectually with other stuff. People didn't know this, but this was my thoughts, right? People were like, dumb gym rat. I'm like, these guys don't know shit. I studied pharmacology for 3 years straight. I could run these guys up the wall. I knew that. So I was like, where is this disconnect? I was like, and then I realized people don't want to talk about how fucking risky it is to lock your shit up in security is complicated, and onboarding people on staker apps easier, and not telling people about everything is easier, but it's sketchier, and it can get you rinsed. I'm not talking about staker app in general, but having your phone. I'll beat your ass in the street, brother, and I will steal your shit. And I have friends that would love to do that and would do that. Not friends, but people I've met over the years. Like, if you told them Jim Rat's got a MetaMask on his phone and he's going out to the bars tonight, you could consider me just destroyed.
Yeah, it's not smart. Even with the hardware wallets, like I never take that stuff with me. I don't carry it with me. And even
unless it's like a small amount, and that's like how you travel. Like if you're like a travel person and you're just like,
no choice.
Obviously you'll have to do that differently. But again, this is real life shit, and people just don't sometimes think about it all the way real life.
The less stuff you do, the better. And also, I would make a recommendation for seed words, right? So consider that you have your seed words on hardware wallets, right? What if those hardware wallets break? You need to rebuild, right? You need to buy new ones.
8 years, the average length on a Trezor.
Okay, yeah. And then also, what if you wrote your words down on pieces of paper, but then there was a fire?
Or flood. Or flood.
Or flood. Or anything. Or robbery or whatever. So you should really consider stamping your words onto metal plates that don't say anything about crypto. Like they're very discreet, very subtle, just like thick pieces of sheet metal. And I actually bought some from this guy in the Hex community named Jexa from, I think he lives in Australia, I think. But I bought some from him in the early days, and I think it's smart to do something like that. And with these plates, you don't put all your words on one plate. Let's say you have 24 words, for example. Well, on plate A, you could put the first, let's see, the first 16 words. And then on plate B, you could put like the last, let's see, all right, let's put it this way. Let's say you have 3 plates, plate A, B, and C, right? You just divide your word, the 24 words up in 8 groups of 8 words, right? So A, B, C. Link A and B together, link A and C together, then link B and C together, and then store the 3 plates in 3 separate locations. That way, if somebody steals a plate, they don't have all your seed words, but you still have 2 plates left, and the 2 plates are sufficient enough to reconstruct the 24 words so that you can get access to your money. That probably confused a lot of people.
No, it made perfect sense if you're in the rabbit hole of security. Again, it's a rabbit hole, though. I want to remind the new guys here. It's more than it seems sometimes. It's not just buy hex and life go up. It's most people will lose and die and be wrecked. I promise you, most of them will. Most. I'm not saying like all of our friends in particular that happen to be good at hex shit. But I'm talking about the people that didn't make it through years of trials and tribulations of understanding that people are ready to rob you, steal from you, tell everyone about your shit, and they wouldn't care if you were dead or alive in front of them.
Yeah,
I promise you. And they're everywhere. And they're in this community because they're everywhere in general. It's a scary world. That's why on this show we try to make it like every single day, like we're not going to that negative shit. I don't care what this person said to this person. I want to know what's going on. Let's get some good minds on here and let's talk about the future, guys. We're all going to be really well off if this all works out, or we're all going to be friggin' dumb as shit. Who cares? Let's fight for what we believe in. I think that's what's most important here. Guys, it's been absolutely incredible. Gunther, I mean, come on. It's been great. Great to see you. Thank you for your time. I'm going to
Hey,
end it here. I'm not playing the song, guys.
One
Go ahead.
last thing just before I go.
Mhm.
Be very careful because if people do hate you and find out information about you, then you got like they start to threaten you with like blackmail and extortion. For example, a few days ago, somebody DM'd me and said, I'm going to publicly dox your addresses, which I thought was laughable because like that was his leverage. But he was like, I'm going to publicly dox you unless you give me 50,000 Pulse Doge. Hey, guess what? If you're listening to this, fuck you. Come at me, bitch. We can call the FBI if you want. We can call local law enforcement. Also, Army background, helicopter mechanic, six years in the United States Army, trained, one shot, one kill, center mass. So let's go, bitch. Bring it on.
Let's go, baby. Hey, what a great way to end the show.
I appreciate it.
Freedom fighting, baby. I'll talk to you guys all tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.